Yeah. Good afternoon to one and all. Welcome to all the parents and students who have joined this online session. So this is basically a panel discussion, engineering education, match your passion, charting the right career choice. So this is as part of the series of panel discussions which we have been conducting across all the departments in VNR VJIT in order to guide the parents and the students in the branch options, whatever they have. So today we have on the panel discussion the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering Department. So we have a panel here and I'll be introducing this panel. So first on the panel we have Dr. Poonam Upadhyay ma'am. So she is the head of the department of EEE, that is Electrical and Electronics Engineering Department. She has completed her bachelor degree in electrical engineering from NIT Raipur, MTech from VNIT Nagpur, integrated power systems and PhD in electrical engineering from JNTU Hyderabad. She has 25 years of teaching experience and working in the institute since 2001. Her area of interest are electrical circuits, electromagnetic field theory, linear system analysis, power systems and artificial intelligence, neural networks, deep learning and fuzzy logic. She is awarded as a senior member of IEEE and is also conferred as Chartered Engineer from Institute of Engineers India. So she has published 41 papers in national and international conferences and journals. She is guiding 6 PhD scholars, out of which one PhD scholar is awarded degree under her guidance. And currently, 5 PhD scholars are pursuing PhD under her guidance. I welcome you, ma'am, onto this panel.
Thank you, Kanti.
Next in the panel, we have Dr. K. Anuradha, ma'am. She is a professor in the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. So, she is also the Dean of Academics in the VNR VJIT College. So, K. Anuradha, madam, has obtained her BE degree from Andhra University College of Engineering, Visakhapatnam in 1992, and ME degree from Usmania University College of Engineering in 1997. And she has her PhD degree in 2011 from Usmania University with specialization in power electronics. So since 1997, she has been the faculty of EEE at VNR VJIT and she has served as a member Governing Council VNR VJIT from the year 2011 to 2015. She was a professor and head of the Electrical and Electronics Engineering Department from 2009 to 2017. She is also she is a member on the Governing Council from 2019 till date. Her research areas of interest are power electronics and drives, reactive power control and electrical machines. She has published 36 papers in various national and international conferences and journals. She is supervising 4 PhD scholars from JNTH and JNTK, out of which one scholar was awarded PhD in the year 2018. She has applied for 2 patents which are published in the Indian Patent Office. She has delivered invited lectures in various AICTE, UGC and DST sponsored staff development programs organized by JNTH and various engineering colleges. She is member Board of Studies in Electrical Engineering of UG and PG programs of non-autonomous constituent colleges and affiliated colleges of JNTH since 2012. She is member Board of Studies in Electrical Engineering in GRIET Hyderabad and Srindiri Institute of Technology and Science. She has received funds of rupees 66.33 lakhs from various funding agencies like AICT for MODROPS, seminar grants, staff development program. She also has developed advanced digital signal processing and drives laboratory with an amount of 11.1 lakhs and a FIST fund from DST. She is the principal coordinator of Margadarshan scheme funded by AICT for mentoring 10 institutions and guiding them towards NBA accreditation in outcome-based education approach. We are very glad to have you on this panel, ma'am.
Thank you, Kandasudha madam.
Yeah, thank you. Next, we have our senior faculty member, Mr. Ramesh Babu. Sir, Dr. V. Ramesh Babu, sir, has been working in the institute 21 years. He has got 4 years of industrial and 10 years of research experience. He is the coordinator of internal quality assurance cell of the institute. His research interests are axial flux machines and electric vehicles. He has offered corporate training to Hyundai Motors India Limited. He is a technical specialist in HIL and SIL plant model development area for diesel and gasoline and electrical vehicles. Sorry, I'm sorry. He has been the mentor. He has offered the corporate training to Hyundai Motors India Private Limited. Thank you, sir. We welcome you on to this panel discussion. Hello.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Yeah. Next on the panel, we have our industry expert, Mr. Lakshmi Naresh Reddy Erra, who is the director of Aditya Scientific. We welcome you, sir, on this panel discussion.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Next, we have our alumnus, Mr. Vishwateja Yedla, who is the associate project manager in HIL and SIL plant development area of diesel and gasoline and electric vehicles. He is handling a team of 8 people in Robert Bosch, Bangalore, and is also the joint secretary for Alumni Association of VNR VJIT. I welcome you, Mr. Teja.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So I welcome all the parents and the students to this panel discussion. So let me just get to the questions for our panel discussion. So let us start with the head of the department, Dr. Poonam Upadhyay, ma'am. Ma'am, so I would like to start off this panel discussion with the one question, that is, what is this branch significance? I mean, EEE is one of the oldest branches, and it is one of the core branches, as we know. So I would like to know what is the branch significance? What is this all about?
Electrical engineering is one of the oldest branch among the core engineering group. As earlier, there was only 4 engineering branches like electrical, mechanical, civil, and civil. These were the main engineering branches. Metallurgy and mining were also there. And electrical engineering branch, it is a evergreen branch, and like it deals with electrical power, it deals with devices, it deals with magnetic fields, and many more. But with the Industrial Revolution, when it has started from 17th century, like 18th century, late 18th century, that year after year, people realize that core electrical engineering is not sufficient. So then with the Industrial Revolution, policymakers think that, like in the somewhere in 1987, in India and other places also, people thought that pure electrical engineering is not sufficient to be called as electrical engineering, because with the Industrial Revolution, electronics comes into the role, computers comes into the role. So the subject, the core, the branch transformed into the subject area called electrical and electronics engineering. So here, electronics engineering, because when you interface your electrical power, your hardware to the software, you need the electronic circuits. And then when you want to, as we are moving ahead through the Industry 4.0, and slowly we will be going for the Industry 5.0 revolution, the automation is coming into the existence. So here IT interface, that information technology, is also coming into the electrical engineering. So electrical and electronics engineering is a complete package where people study about the core electrical engineering, electronics engineering, and the computer subjects, which are also very important because our grids are also becoming smart. So with this, this is all about electrical engineering, and it's an evergreen branch.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that elaborating about your branch, especially. I would also like to know what are the sectors where you can find jobs for EEE students, ma'am? What are the various sectors where you can find jobs?
Job opportunities for electrical engineering is unlimited. You can say that it is in everywhere. Like, people cannot live without power, and any country to be called as technically modernized country, their power infrastructure has to be very strong. So in that way, like all the job sectors, like let it be core sectors like you can have manufacturing sector, you can have construction sector, you can have transportation sectors like railways, and now like urbanization is happening through the metro rails. So every sector, electrical engineers are required. Whatever is, whether it is a small or big, like electrical engineers are required everywhere. And apart from that, lot of government job opportunities are there for the electrical engineers, like in all the Trasco companies and Genco companies, and public sectors, various public sectors, electrical engineers are required. And the electrical engineer can also work as an entrepreneur. They can do some certification with their graduation, and they can be called as energy auditor. And they can also pursue their career as electrical contractor. So there are there are ample of opportunities. And as I told you, like significance of branch like IT enabled electrical engineering is going ahead now in the future. So information technology requires a lot of electrical engineers into their services. So IT jobs are also open for electrical engineers.
Right, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for telling us about the various sectors where EEE students can have opportunities. Ma'am, just one more question before I go to the next panel member. Ma'am, right now we see that many of the courses or the colleges have this NBA accreditation, right? So does this department also have NBA accreditation? And similarly, what about this ranking frameworks which come into picture? Especially, I noticed that a lot of rankings come during the admissions time. So what is the appropriate ranking which can be considered by any parent or student who might be interested in joining a particular college?
See, when parents look for admission for their ward, the one thing which is very important, the program is accredited or not through National Board of Accreditation. And NBA is for the program and NAC is for the institute. So the NBA, like all accreditation agencies, they make you to understand what are your strengths, weaknesses and opportunities there in the department. So they always give you the opportunities to improve your quality. So that's how accreditation plays very important role. Same time, the stakeholders like parents and student, they get the assurance that their ward is studying, getting a quality education. So that's why these accreditation are very important. And coming to the various ranking framework, but institute level ranking framework is very important, which our country has started, that NIRF ranking. So that also gives option to the parent, like whether their ward should be taken admission in that institute or not, which is under MHRD ranking, that NIRF ranking. So that's how these accreditation and ranking plays very important role for a parent and for a student. So they should be always NBA accredited programs. And when they want to go for the higher education, if they are coming out from the NBA accredited programs, then they get like their courses also will be valued when they go for the PG programs, MS programs. So that's how accreditation is important for a department.
Right, ma'am. Right. Thank you for.
Your mic is mute.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for telling us about this accreditation process and how it's very important as a quality check, and especially for students who want to go abroad, and how the universities give weightage to that particular aspect. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to go to our senior faculty member, Mr. Ramesh Babu, sir. Ramesh Babu, sir, I would like to know what are the trust areas which come under this E category. I mean, what are the major areas, specialized areas, which the students can do once they graduate out from this EEE branch?
Yeah, madam, as madam rightly said, electrical and electronics engineering branch is one of the ancient and standard branch of engineering. In fact, this EEE has given birth to other circuit branches like EC and EI. And coming to the thrust areas in electrical engineering, here we have electrical machines and control, power electronics, and power systems, control systems, and this hybrid vehicles and renewable energy systems. All these are major thrust areas in electrical engineering. But one thing here, even they got divided into many segments. There is a lot of interlinkage between all these domains. So, for example, if you take electrical machines, and these machines are designed to comply with the power system requirements. And similarly, if you take power electronics, so power electronics are used to control machines and power systems. And in fact, actually, all these systems are subsets of power systems only. So one cannot view all these domains as a separate modules, madam. These are the thrust areas in electrical engineering branch.
Yes, sir. Right, sir. As you rightly pointed out, which is an important point that all the branches like EC and EIE are derived branches from EEE, which probably the students also will notice once they go to the abroad or once they go for their higher education, they can look into the aspect that most of them offer it as a EEE course rather than as a specialized EC course or EI course. So which is an important point to be mentioned over here. Thank you, sir, for telling us about that. So similarly, I would like to know how can the students of EEE branch diversify once they graduate after the completion of this particular course?
Madam, once the students they get graduated from the branch, they find diversified career paths, madam. They will be having ample of opportunities, job-wise and higher studies-wise also. But our students, once they complete the BTech degree, they love to sustain as electrical engineers only, generally. If it is required, they can go to other fields also. So by the time they complete this 4 years degree, they will be industry ready. Means they can perform the industrial tasks of any nature. So they can design the electrical systems, they can maintain it, and they can procure the equipment, and they can manage the man, material, and also the money. And also they can be promoters for this renewable energy systems and also electrical vehicles in the capacity of entrepreneurs. Not only that, and they can go to this IT sector also, which requires the logical thinking highly. And the one advantage with electrical engineering branch is by having this course, so the logical thinking power can be inculcated in the students, and that will be greatly useful for the students. Those will go for IT sector also.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you. So they have equal amount of opportunities like any other branch where they can diversify into various domains as far as I have understood from here. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to ask Anuradha ma'am. Anuradha ma'am, being the Dean of Academics from VNR VJIT, I think it is a more apt question for you. We have an autonomy status, and many parents or students probably do not have an idea of what is the advantage of having autonomy. So anything about that, ma'am, actually?
Sure, Kantisudha. In continuation with the head of the department, Dr. Poonam Upadhyay Madam and Ramesh Babu sir, this is about the EEE and with respect to the autonomous status, EEE curriculum and autonomous status of the college. So when we look into the autonomy is at the curriculum. We are at liberty to design and frame our curriculum in line with JNTU, whatever is the affiliated university norms. And in those lines, when we look into the curricular aspects since 1995, where the department is incepted, until 2011, that travel, we have followed the JNTU curriculum completely, and then onwards, 2012 onwards, we have UGC autonomy. So with that perspective, department has taken a lot of curricular, you can say, reforms, wherein the industry trends of that particular, wherever it is curriculum lapses are there with respect to industry trends. We have a strong, we have the liberty of the board, design on which we have industry perspective, from CPRI and BHL R&D, and also from GE, like that we have industry people on the board, and with respect to that, time to time we will revise the curriculum, and I am very glad to inform the stakeholders as parent and student, the futuristic purpose. We have revised the curriculum in 2012, 2013, 15, as well as 18 and 19 also. Likewise, like time to time, curricular advancements are well taken into the shape of the electrical and electronics engineering in such a way that whatever is the industry's today's trend, let us say like artificial intelligence, or you can say like IoT and data sciences, whatever it is, though the domain of electrical engineering is well balanced, apart from that, how the electrical engineering can impact the emerging trends, that also is well taken care by the way of track design. So for the information of parent and student especially, though like whatever is the branch of like electrical engineering, if a student is opting, he is very well like into a particular track based on his own interest in flavor. In addition to electrical domain engineering, they will have the like you can say application oriented approach using AI into the electrical engineering and data science, how like you can well address with respect to power system concepts and power electronic, whatever drive and the industry orientation you are looking at, like that IoT applications into, you can say like always like smart distribution networks and also smart grid, today's coining word. And likewise, you can say like renewable energy system applications, whatever is the latest trend of today's industry, on par with that, curriculum is well designed and taken care in the delivery path also. So this is how, madam, like for the information of the parent and student, though you are taking electrical engineering, like, most of the time these days, like the address of maybe many of the students, because we have many queries from the parent and student in such a way, electrical engineering is the toughest branch, what should we do? I always tell them, it is engineering is not like in the logic actually. So when you look at that common sense and logic aspect, electrical engineering is a day-to-day application, like what you see in life and what you see around us, and how you provide solutions to industry and academia. And in those lines, like your curriculum is well framed, and we are always like well at VNRVJIT, every like curriculum is balanced in such a way that what is today's scenario and how well like we can take it up. Okay, madam, that is how like we can address like into your other questions also. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I mean, you have answered a lot many, what you call, apprehensions which the parents have, especially related to triple E bench. And it's really very good to know that we have the dynamic flexibility, as you were telling, and how the reforms have been brought out to bridge the gap between industry and the academia. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for letting us know about this. Next, I would like to call upon this placement coordinator, Ms. Nagajyoti ma'am. Nagajyoti ma'am? Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, since we are talking about the department and all these things, I would like to know what kind of jobs will lie ahead for the students from this particular branch, ma'am.
Madam, the EEE students are having many opportunities, like they can get into public sector units and private companies. Coming to the public sector units, they can get the job in BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, Central Power Research Institute, Transco, Genco. So like that, there are many government organizations where the EEE student can work. And coming to the private sector, again, there may be IT sector, like the private sector can be IT sector or core sector, madam. In core sector, the student can get the job in Toshiba, Meda Servo Drives, ZF, Blue Star, Transcon, MRF types, Schindler Electric, Siemens, ABB. So like that, there are many opportunities in private core sector also. In IT sector, the student can enter into TCS, Capgemini, Deloitte, Value Labs, Beautiful Code, Mindtree, like Cognizant, Accenture, DXP Technology, Larsen & Turbo Infotech. Like that, many opportunities are there in IT sector also. So the EEE student can enter into both the government organization and private sector, like IT sector and core sector also. They can get the job, madam.
Right. Yeah, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know about the various public sector units and the private companies where the students of EEE can get into. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to go to our industry expert, Mr. Naresh Erra. Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon,
Sir,
ma'am.
sir, I would like to know a little bit about your company first before I indulge into the common questions which we parents or students have. A
Okay.
little bit about your companies.
So I'll give you a little background since you missed my introduction. My apologies, I didn't send you my biodata. So I finished Triple E and then I did my embedded software program in Penn State. And then I worked for GE for a couple of years. Came back and started this Aditya Scientific Equipment. So we manufacture equipment for pharma industry. So when I came back to India, my father was working in a chemical industry where I did some apprentice to help him finish some of his work. So there I realized majority of our equipment which is used in pharma is basically imported from Germany or Japan or either US. So basic machines are also being imported. So that brought me into this line where we can use our engineering skills to build these same machines. So we are the only indigenous company which supplies these kind of equipments in India, and we strive to stop imports majorly in this industry. So that's what I do, ma'am.
Right, sir. Thank you. It is really great to know about what you are doing, sir. Sir, I would like to know, especially related to this, since you are from the background of electrical and electronics engineering. So I would like to know what are the scope of opportunities which you see for Triple E students, sir?
As all the esteemed panel members before me spoke about it, there is no end. See, fundamentally, I felt engineering is application of science and maths to solve problems. Okay, I really didn't believe that we have to stick to only electrical engineering based on the curriculum what we were taught in Vienna. We get to know every subject. From the first year to my last year, whatever I have learned, I have implemented pretty much everything unknowingly. I'm not a great bright student or a topper, but I was listening to the class. So wherever I come across in my professional life, there is a confidence that I have gone through these classes and I was able to apply them. It's not that, I mean, I was a professional in that field, but there was a confidence that I know that subject. So I could go back, do some research and work on that. So if you talk about, I mean, where we are in terms of the, basically, Triple E is one subject, as Anuradha madam already spoke. It's a very hard subject. Why do you want to take easier subjects when you are young? Correct? So it's the time where you have to work hard a little bit to understand life so that life ahead will be much easier. So the interdisciplinary skills which Triple E brings, I felt it helps in understanding and building common sense to start with, which is it is not common these days. So that is one aspect I felt Triple E brings in a lot. And if you look at a lot of global leaders who are in cross-disciplinary, interdisciplinary skills, like let's say, simple example, if you look at Raghuram Govind, who was governor of RBI, he's a Triple E electrical engineer. Satya Nadella, Microsoft head, he's a Triple E engineer. Sam Petrodo, he was given Padma Bhushan for science and technology. He's an electrical engineer. What do you know? D.S. Brar, chairman of GVK Bio, completely different. It's into pharma industry. He was head of Ranbaxy. He's an electrical engineer. I mean, you can name a lot of electrical engineers are into management. Just because they get to know early in life that you have to learn 2-3 different subjects, mix them, and in industry, that's what I felt. It's after a stage, it's how do you work with people, how do you plan, how do you organize, how do you staff yourself, how do you lead. So I felt Triple E was a good background for me to start because it is a little enlightening, and if you talk about opportunities, in India still electrical motors, which is fundamental, discovered almost 100 years ago. Still we import motors, Siemens, ABB. You ask, your department will be using enough number of imported motors. Why are we not thinking of making it in India? Power electronics, major components come from either Japan or Germany. Electrical calibrated systems, still we don't have enough calibration systems. We are depending on outside imports. High energy induction heaters, again, basic getting imported. Railway electrical systems, either from GE or Bosch. MEDA is doing a total engineering solutions, but not per se in electrical side. The electrical motor has not yet come. They are still in some other sectors. Opportunities are plenty, I feel. There's good chance for them to be a leaders in the local industry as well as in the national industry as well as global industry. So I feel kids should take Triple E, work hard a little bit, and then they have a bright future ahead.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. It's really very, I mean, it's for the first time that I'm hearing that all the important personalities whom you have mentioned had a triple background. So I think it will be an example to say to our students also that the harder they work at their graduation level, the higher the responsible post they are holding, which we can see, as you have told. Thank you, sir. It's really very nice to hear all that from you. Next, I would like to go to our alumnus, Mr. Teja, Vishwa Teja.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, hello, Vishwa Teja. So can I know from which year you have passed out from this particular branch and any relevance to your present job, what you're doing, and to the branch which you have studied?
Okay. I'm from the year 2007 to 11. My batch belongs to, and coming to my work area, I'm working as hardware in loop and software in loop model developer here for especially Volkswagen, Audi, BMW cars, and it's completely relevant. I could say that what am I working now, especially, but people may think that how come an electrical engineer is fitting into this automotive field there? Definitely, without us, there is something called ECU, electronic controlling unit, which is completely like a brain for a car, where completely handled by an electrical and electronic student itself. So I say we also play a major role in this automotive field. And I can also say myself that how I was switching from one technology to another technology. Like, first of all, when I've started my career, I was in home appliances. Then I was shifted myself into embedded systems. Then I'm now presently into the automotive field. So it's really pretty easy when compared to other groups like a CSE or an IT sector guy cannot switch that easily when compared to Triple E or how the standard we have. Definitely, as the previous the expertise said that you need to learn few course little bit ahead, and then that definitely makes you to fit into this any kind of a job you are looking out for. So that's how I can correlate my course to the work what I'm doing now.
Yeah. Thank you, Teja. Also, one more question to you. So what was your guiding force to join this particular course when you have joined this Triple E branch?
Particularly, there was not that major idea, but still definitely I can put in small incident which have taken care in my childhood. Like, for example, in schooling time, we used to have this science fair or something like this, where you connect a motor to a fan and we used to feel something like we are scientists almost, like, say some of my seniors or my father saw that and he said, you have a good idea. But I never understood how come a small battery is running such a kind of a huge fan, what is exactly driving this force. So that made an interest for me to look into this, and slowly it has created interest for me, and slowly I got into this electrical and electronic side, and definitely getting into VNR VJT and going through all the course or whatever it is, the challenges, especially if you see the expertise or the competency level from Poonam ma'am or Anuradha ma'am, Radhika ma'am or a famous sir, it's like huge, you know. They can answer whatever you go, whatever question or whatever the new ideology you go with, and they have rightly put us in a right direction, we feel. And that's what the motivation actually for me to at least to get into this side. Yeah, triply.
Yeah, right, Teja. Thank you. Thank you for giving that example also, how you are excited to join this branch. Now, I would like to go back to Poonam ma'am. Poonam ma'am, what is the strength of your department, especially with respect to faculty, and also what is your intake of students for this particular branch actually?
As department, we are very strong, madam, because our branch started with the institute, with the establishment in 1995. So we have very strong faculty in the department, and our faculty strength 35, and like there are faculty who are working since 1997 in the institute. And most of the faculty, like later also whoever has been joined also, they are very rich in experience. So there are total 35 faculty members are there, out of which 20 are PhD. They are with doctorate degree, and remaining 13 people are pursuing PhD, and 2 are also finding their right problem for registration. So, but we are very rich in the guidance with the eminent people like Dr. M. Ramamurthy, who is a former Director General of CPRI. He is a distinguished professor in the department. And Dr. B. Raghupati Bolani, he is also our distinguished professor. He is University of, he is retired professor of University of Illinois, Southern Illinois. So we get a lot of guidance from these people. And since 1995, when institute was established and department was also came along with that, along with this institute. So we have got guidance with the experienced faculty like Venkat Naidu sir, Venkatesh Vulu sir, Professor Venkatesh Lu, and Janardhan Reddy sir, Dr. B. Brahmaya. Like those experienced people were there in the department, Kamaksha sir, Subramaniam sir. So they have set the path for us. So that way, like department is very strong, and competency level also very good in the department. Their research experience, what they have in power system, in power electronics, in axial flux machine, and the electric hybrid vehicle is excelling our department. So that's what our department is.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for telling us about the department. And really, it shows your strength when you have said about the number of doctorates whom you have in the department, and especially the senior most faculty who are your visiting professors and all those kind of things. Ma'am, really, I appreciate that. Next thing is, I would like to ask about your industry collaborations, ma'am. Any kind of collaborations which you have with the industry, and any kind of research projects which you have done in the department?
Yes, madam. We have many collaborations, madam. We are collaborated with a startup of IIT Bombay, which is KWatt Solution, and with this KWatt Solution, we get lot of opportunities for the internship. That is also there. Maybe I think with other interaction with Ramesh Babu sir and Nagjyoti madam, you will be getting to know about this. And we have our collaboration with Ogni Group, and collaboration with Rachna Machines, Shady Sai Electricals. So some of the project, like consultancy project also we are doing under for those companies. So that's how. Many more apart from the collaborations, like direct MOU, like we Siemens is also collaborated with us. They have trained our student in the past 2 years, and our student have got internship, like in-house internship for their company. Like that, collaborations are there, madam. And research projects past since 2011, the research atmosphere is very strong in the department. Faculty members have executed UGC minor projects. 9 projects were executed, and with this strength, we have got DST FIST fund also, and currently also ongoing projects are there sponsored from DST, which is like to develop the fast charging station that is going on under DST, and one more project where artificial intelligence is applied to assist the Divyanjan. So that way research projects are going on. So
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
how-
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for letting us know that you had a lot of collaborations with the industries as well as you have a lot of projects. Now I'd like to ask Anuradha ma'am. Anuradha ma'am, do you give some kind of opportunity for your students related to these advanced courses or projects or whatever is happening in the department? How do you give opportunities to students actually?
Yes, madam. Thank you for your the connectivity with the industry orientation and academic orientation in the department. When we look at, as we, madam and Ramesh Babu sir and Naresh has rightly pointed out, like Vishwa Teja is telling, like the way how department is preparing the students in taking the real life situations and into the carry forward to the industry. We have developed advanced digital signal processing and drives laboratory. Mr. Gopal Krishna of the Tripoli department, like who is the key originator and developer for that. He has a lot of industry exposure, and here, like every faculty of the department, as Madam has rightly pointed out, lot of expertise with respect to other domain of the electrical engineering, which has a vast domains. And especially when we look into the drive sector, industry sector, this advanced digital processing and drive systems laboratory is helping the student. This is one of the latest technology trend lab wherein students get trained to how the controller can be developed and how a VSI drive and related to, you can say, like solar pumping and other systems, how it can be worked, and starting from programming level to the integration of the equipment and how they can look into the real life situation. That is how like the approach will be taken. And apart from that, like we have through research projects also the equipment what we are placing in the various laboratories. Let us say MODRABS. Radhika Madam has that project of MODRABS SCADA system, wherein we will always like link up with the curriculum, that research orientation, how a distribution SCADA system and with respect to the various loading conditions and that kind of curriculum orientation into the laboratories and how we can link up the latest research trends. So likewise in machine lab also, Prabhakar sir, like he is the main principal investigator for that, wherein again drive related latest technological trends. Recently that was the project of AICTE, and students are well connected with that, even MTech, BTech as well as PhD students. So right now, like we are very proud to announce that like department is having like institute's PhD program. We have scholars in the electrical department also, from JNTUH and AICTE, NDF also, and wherein the kind of rich expertise of all the faculty orientation, like I can, maybe like I have addressed a few faculty, like into the power systems, there are various faculty expertise and power systems, power electronics, electrical machines and control systems. Likewise, the maybe like latest trends also we are able to embed into the technological electrical domains, and that is how like helping the students. And as well, like I can say, truly speaking, when our students enter into the industry, like Vishwa Teja has rightly mentioned, they are easy to switch over from one orientation or one kind of job, maybe like to another, in such a way that we receive calls like, though whatever is taught in the classroom, sometimes like we may or may not, they may or may not be using that directly, but many students do call us what is taught in the classroom, like now we are sitting here. That gives us a lot of satisfaction, and that's where consider all the department faculty are very much embedded into the student orientation, and we do have a lot of connectivity with the students. That is the speciality of electrical department, wherein whenever we see our students, it is a human connectivity is very high. That's where like a lot of alumni, like I can see Vishwa Teja since 2011 onwards, every year he will be there in spite of his busy schedules also. Likewise, they have a great team like Radhika Madam's motivation and many of them are involved, and alumni mentoring happens a lot. So that's where industry is there in the department, live industry through our alumni network.
set up as part of your growth process in the department, and it's very good to hear that you have some research scholars also, and you are involving your students in the projects and all these things. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to go back to our other panelist, Mr. Ramesh Babu, sir. Sir, I would like to know how has the industry interaction with the department helped your department in one way or the other, or how has it helped your students basically, this kind of interactions which you have with the industry?
Madam, actually, we have many industrial linkages. As per me, my opinion, unless the students are exposed to the industrial environment, our purpose of course does not get fulfilled. So this is the reason we have MOEs with many companies like Rachana Industries, Radhika Transformers, Shirdi Sai Transformers, and K-Watt Solutions, which is a IIT Bombay-based organization. And we are trying to have one more MOE with Sri Jasta Transformers. And also, we have offered this corporate training for Hyundai Motors India Limited. And here, the students, they have to visit one field trip at least, and they have to listen to one industrial expert, madam, in each semester. So like that, the industry institute interaction is well maintained in our department.
Right. Sir, any kind of societal impact projects which your students have done for the society from the department actually?
Yeah, madam. Definitely, you will take care that while assigning projects to the students, so there must be some societal impact, directly or indirectly. So you see, our students they have developed a drone which can spray the pesticides in the fields. Okay, it has got a lot of societal impact, and this soil moisture monitoring system they have developed, and e-bike they have developed. All these projects they have a lot of social impact. So you'll take that care while assigning the project itself to the students. That is about the societal impact.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Thank you for that you have done very good projects for the society. Sir, next I would like to go back to our placement coordinator, Nagajyoti ma'am. Nagajyoti ma'am, I would like to know from you, how do you train your students for placements? And do you really involve any kind of industry experts for these placements and all these things?
Yes, madam, training is crucial for the student to get good placement. So for that, we are using, we are assigning digital platforms like Exam Portal and BTech Guru to every student with the individual login credentials. And we are also conducting continuous assessments right from the first year to track the student's skill set. And accordingly, we are arranging the training programs. And the analysis reports of the assessments also, we are sharing with the students to enable us their training needs. And we are also conducting mock hackathons in the simulated environment to make the student to participate in various coding contests like TCS CodeVita, Code for Good challenge by JP Morgan and Deloitte Technotso. So in that way, we are encouraging our student to participate in competitive based hiring. And coming to the training roadmap, in the first year, we will focus on adaptive learning methodology with the help of the digital platforms, and parallelly we will train the student in problem solving skills and logical reasoning. Coming to the second year, we will focus on programming skills like Python, data structures, DBMS and Java. Parallelly, we will conduct assessments on logical reasoning, verbal topics, and in the third year we will conduct we will conduct a training on data sciences, and we are also encourage the students to participate in coding contests again, like in this scenario the hiring is completely changed. It is competitive based hiring, so we are encouraging our students to participate in various coding contests. And coming to the end of the third year, we are conducting high intensity training program before the placement season starts. Once the student enters into the final year, we are arranging alumni interaction with the passed out students to get good inputs for the upcoming placement drives for the final year students. And we are also making the student to attend the pre-placement talks conducted by various companies, and we are also conducting company specific trainings before the arrival of any company. So like that, we are training our students, and we are also involving industry experts from Value Momentum, Infosys, and from KWatt Solutions, Xilinx. So we are arranging resource persons from these industries to train the students in Python, solar PV based systems, and in data science, data analytics also. So these are the training programs what we are conducting for our students at department level.
Right, ma'am. Right. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know that you have lot of training programs which are offered to your students apart from your core related also. I think you are offering them related to coding and related to the advanced technologies, whatever are as per the what you call the job requirement also. So very good to know that, ma'am. Thank you. Now I would like to go to our industry expert, Mr. Naresh sir. Sir, I would like to know. How was how was your involvement with the VNR VJIT? I mean, where did you get involved with this college? And I would like to know your feedback related to this particular.
To start with, I am from the first batch. So if you ask me how are we involved, we are involved in even putting the bricks together. So in terms of alumni, I am part of one of the alumni group, and otherwise I'm regularly in touch with Anuradha madam if I have any questions. Connected with Sri Ram sir, so that's how I am connected there. But if you are looking for problem solving and technical issues, I have worked with a couple of professors on some projects at the industry level.
Right, sir. Right. Yeah. Thank you for that. So it's really, very good to hear that you have been part of some of our projects also, wherein probably you are having a kind of a guidance from the industry aspect also. Thank you, sir.
The radar project, some guns which they were having issues, it's a little helpful for them.
Okay, sir. Right, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to come back to Teja, our alumnus. Teja, I would like to ask you, what are the values that you have learned from your department, and what are the best practices which you think will set apart your college, that is VNR, from the other colleges?
Okay. I would like to give one example, ma'am. For example, at the time of 2007 to 2011, these course certifications were not that important for the placement or something like this. But how our technical management, like Poonam ma'am, Anuradha ma'am, or anyone who are there in this panel, they have thought that futuristic that we may require some certification that for the future life or the future developments, they'll definitely be helpful. And I would say that was MATLAB. They have called a person from outside and they have taught us that MATLAB and Simulink codes. And at the time we were thinking, what could we do with this MATLAB? We are really not having an idea. But to be frank, I say, now I'm working on MATLAB only, doing the design on the engine ECUs and all, where I didn't do another course again. They made us to learn in such a good way, and that's how they concentrate on a student. And also the way they collaborate and they communicate with all the groups, that shows, for example, once I visited the college, I think in the year of 2017, there was some temperature chamber they were trying to build, where they need a mechanical collaboration there. So mechanical and electrical collaboration was going on. That's really great. It's not just that our management or the technical expertise are looking only to the scope of electrical and electronics. I see that they're making us to sit in the center of a circle and making us to see all the view or the point of view to where we can get in and collaborate and communicate with each other. And that's how, I have learned those key points now. And that made me to communicate with my team and lead a team of 8 people now, with a different collaborations. Now, even though I'm into the model development using MATLAB and Simulink, sometimes I need some efforts or some communication from the mechanical team in my Robert Bosch itself So that made me to come into a good person to learn this communication or collaboration at least. Yeah. And I say it's not just, and also the way they've handled the MATLAB course at the time of, in the 2007 shows how our department thinks a futuristic way for their future developments and all. Yeah, that's I can say.
Yeah. Thank you, Teja. Thank you for the mentioning that MATLAB. Now we have a campus-wide MATLAB license, I think, which is not confined to not just one department, but in all departments in VNR have been using that very proactively. And as you said, you can find that kind of amalgamation, especially in VNR, where we get to see many branches, students sitting together for a project or for any kind of work, which very few institutes find it actually.
Yes.
So good that you mentioned that at this point. Thank you, Teja.
Thank you.
I'd like to get back to Poonam ma'am. Poonam ma'am, can you just tell us some of the significant achievements of your department actually?
Yes, madam. All various achievements are there. As I have mentioned, 20 PhD faculty are there. So at their presentation level, paper presentation level, many of them have got the best paper prizes. And coming to the department point of view, our student also have represented department and gone to the final level of a Smart India Hackathon. And some of our students have presented their ideas to monitor the agriculture land, and they've got the best project from the ZF India. And many more such achievements are there. From faculty side also, one of our faculty, Ms. M. Nagjoti, she is nominated as one of the member in the world level of committee, which is called SIGRI. So they do lot of work on insulation and coordination, and she is the first female Indian who is there in that group, and second Indian person who is there in that group. So this kind of achievement is there in the department. Many more collecting here is difficult.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, similarly, any distinguished alumni from your department whom you can think of mentioning over here?
Two distinguished alumni are here itself, from 1999 batch, Mr. Naresh, and he has gone from his from job career to the industry. He has become an entrepreneur. He is having his own industry and working in the scientific instruments. And Vishwa Teja is there, who has come as in a big level and using the MATLAB software, as he has mentioned here. Miss V. Chandani, she is working in NASA, Casinini, as a radar signal engineer. And Mr. Shivanand Reddy, who is working in BAR as a scientific officer. Mr. P. Pedireddy, he is working as a deputy director in Western Railways. He is an IES. So department has this level of alumni also. And as we have mentioned, job opportunities in the government sector is a lot. So many students, after clearing the GATE examination, they are in the public sectors, like BHEL, like Krishna Priya, she is there in BHEL R&D. Supriya, she is working in the GE Energy, utilizing her electronics and electrical knowledge and developing the numerical relays using the embedded technologies. So like that, many alumni are there. Mr. I am just forgetting the name. Many names are there, and I have seen, I have been associated since 2001. I did not find a single student after 1 year sitting free and doing something. I'm seeing them excelling, excellent in their career.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Two significant achievements which I would like to bring it to your notice also here. That when our department, our institute was not autonomous, we were affiliated to JNTU. The university gold medal for the department also we got from the girl student Madhulika Datta in 1999, and Mansa Devi in 2011. Two gold medalists are also there in the department, university gold medalists.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah. I can see, I mean, how proudly you are actually mentioning all these achievements and how proudly you feel of your students who are into reputed organizations, especially as you're mentioning like NASA, BHEL or railways or whatever it might be. So it's really very, I mean, very delight to know that your students have performed well and they are very good in their career also. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to come back to Anuradha ma'am. Anuradha ma'am, since Teja has mentioned about certified courses, so I would like to ask you a little bit about that also. What are these certified courses actually, and what courses do you offer to this triple students, ma'am?
Okay, thank you, Kadisudha. Like before I proceed to that, I recall like when Vishwa Teja has mentioned about MATLAB, that program is also, the resource for that program is also by our alumni, Mr. Chandrasekhar. Chandrakant Reddy. Chandrakant Reddy is one of the founder of that MATLAB training consultants. After completion of his MS, he came back here from US. He came here and he started his consultant company, like especially for electrical engineering. What way MATLAB toolboxes are helpful. So I recall Chandrakant Reddy here. And likewise, madam, the way when we design our certificate courses itself, it is a value addition and skill development for our electrical student. So the way I wanted to connect here the prospective students and parents also, the way department designs the certificate course, the contents of the certificate course also, we look into the industry trend and then what exactly the practical expertise is required or hands-on experience is required for the student. So that is how the design of the course itself is well taken. And then we look at the person industry attachment also, who are the best in that, and that's how we have solar PV technologies. So the trend of renewable energy generation, solar PV technologies and embedded system related. How to develop a renewable energy system related to electronic orientation, and apart from that, as a student, how a PCB can be designed and how related to hands-on though engineering. Suppose let us you take diploma or ITI. We have lot of practical hands-on experience will be there. But how whereas in engineering most of the time we go for advanced level of concepts. So that's where we train here through certificate courses. The kind of expertise are hands-on practical orientation that is required for the student and that they should not miss when you enter into hardware industry. That's how we take up such courses. That is one of the example, and then we go for drive oriented technologies, and apart from that, as we all know very well, the core industry as well as IT sector, our students are subjected to industries, and these days though IT sector we mentioned, there is a technology division and most of our students are into the technology division of IT companies. And that's how the good feedback what we receive is just I mentioned Vishwa Teja has mentioned about MATLAB orientation and other aspects. Likewise, the IT sector technology trend also they are well trained here. The certificate courses we do IT touch as well as electrical engineering applications. Always we mix up both. Though we take AI, we mention electrical engineering applications, how a power sector transmission system, distribution system and all those aspects of power sector when they enter into the touch of smart concepts, how they can integrate IoT and these kind of things, we take help from the industry personnel and go ahead. So here I would like to mention this point also, as a part of department research and consultancy development also, we do approach companies, when we meet them, they give us some kind of ideas, in transformers, Ramesh Babu sir is expert in the machine and transformer area. When we enter into Toshiba Electricals, formerly it was Vijay Electricals when we visited. So they percolated a problem in transformers, what way these are the research issues and all. So immediate after coming to department, our projects will be flowing in that research problem. And a few of the students are really recruited into the companies because of the project that is taken up by them. That's how many of the students into the research domain of the core engineering with the maybe like you can say the kind of skill set and whatever knowledge and training that is provided by the department expertise faculty. And I can say like each and every faculty are committed and dedicated in the department in imparting knowledge to the student community. So we are very well connected to the parent also in the department. That is one of the maybe like you can say major strength of the department. Thank you.
Right, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. As you have mentioned, so how you are making AI relevant to your triple specialization, or what are the problem areas which you are looking into, how you are exciting the students especially. So it's really good to know about that. Ma'am, I would just like to ask you one more question. About industries. So I would like to know what are the industries which the students from triple generally pay visit, and what are the things they pick up from there actually? I mean, what kind of exposure do you give to them?
Okay. Okay, well, Kansada, when it comes to industry visit, like you mean like what kind of industries as a part of graduation, like they are visiting and exposed to the industry technologies, right? Am I right? Like that is how.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, ma'am. Correct.
Okay. So in that perspective, when we look into, we have kind of like academic orientation in the department. When we have the various courses of the curriculum itself, we decide upon like which course. Suppose let us say like being in Hyderabad, that advantage we are having. The exposure to the way you can connect to the various industries. Suppose if you take up electrical machines, so we always look at Elmot, like one of the company where like lot of you can say like machine related we have aspects, and similarly like BHL also. So we when we design our academic plan itself in every course, like let us say in a semester, like we cannot plan too many industrial visits. Also there is a constraint, like as we all know, like they have their own schedules, and in that perspective, what we do is every semester 2 industrial visits we arrange for the student, which is well connected with the curriculum courses also, so that they can get connected with the industry. And as Ramesh Babu sir has rightly pointed out, they speak, they listen to the industry personnel through guest lectures. So these are all well planned activity of the curriculum itself. Like when a particular course is being delivered by the faculty to a student group or a particular class, we plan for industry as well as like guest lecture and industrial visits. That is part of the curriculum, so that we should not miss out any of the chance that is given to the student as a part of industry connectivity. And in that, I can say many times like we do take care of being power sector. Let us say like most common visit, like very fundamentally, we do take them to a station like a substation visit. That is one of the primary visit, like what we do give us our student exposure. And then starting from that, like when you say like generating stations, thermal generating stations like Kothagudem and Nagarjuna Sagar Hydel station, like that power plant visits also we have a 1 day visit like that. And then you can say like manufacturing sector, especially BHL is the place where like they can look into the generators, like very high power rate generators, like how and the magnanimity what they are learning here and how they are visualizing there, starting from winding, like how they do go for like a winding and then insulation, and what is the level of power rating, how they can visualize all those things. A lot of excitement also we see in them, because I am associated with them like in most of the visits. Most of the faculty like are associated as a course faculty, and really like real teaching happens, real learning happens there when they have lot of interactions. And apart from that, like South Central Railway also loco sheds. So real time, like what they learn and how they connect. That's where department has lot of planning committee, wherein like we decide upon like what industry they really need it. That's how like we plan it in the department. And we thank all the department like who are very well like involved into the development of the department. Like lot of efforts are there in each and every activity. Meticulous planning and execution is seen until the result is our outcomes are expected outcomes are reached. We do have a closed mechanism wherein we again correct things like wherever it is necessary, and that is how like department runs. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for telling that, as you told, real learning happens by giving them a practical exposure to the students, and it's really good to hear that the department has been doing it consistently. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to go back to Ramesh Babu, sir. Ramesh Babu, sir, I would like to know from you, what are the kind of opportunities that you give for your students in order to excel in their talent or the passion, whatever they carry in the college?
Yeah, madam, as madam rightly mentioned, when we have visited Vijay Electricals, that designs DGM is Jacob Georgia. He has posed one problem before us. That is, they were struggling to identify the stray loss estimation. Okay, that we have taken as a project, and that task I have given to my student, and one project has come out of that. And because he has done the project in that area, he got placement in ABB. Now he's in ABB. So that is the opportunity he will provide for the students to showcase their talent. So definitely, so this VNR Gyan Jyoti has got some special edge among other institutes in providing opportunities to the students to show their talents here. So anyway, academic activity will be going on. So in parallel to this regular academic activity, the students, they involve in professional activities. We have different professional societies here. So that they will involve here. And also they will involve in NSS activities. And here we have a wonderful sports complex. Okay, so they conduct every year the sports fest at national level. And we will conduct here technical fest called Convergence, and cultural fest like this scintillations. And here we have 9 cultural clubs here. The students can participate in those clubs and they can sing, they can dance, they can act, they can do anything here. We are providing all these facilities to the students. And also IIT Madras, they conduct a very famous cultural fest called Sarang. Our students do participate there and generally they win the prizes also. Okay, so apart from producing engineers, entrepreneurs here, we have produced politicians, sportsmen, and film stars also. So that is the opportunity we will provide for the students here to showcase their talent.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So as you said, an all-round development, what I can see by what you are saying, sir. Really interesting to know that you have all these kind of activities going on in the institute. Sir, since you mentioned about some kind of professional bodies, I would like to know what are these professional chapters? Is membership in these professional chapters going to help the students in any way? I mean, just a perception from your part.
Yeah, madam. Here we have many professional society bodies. We have the Institution of Engineers India and IEEE, ISTE, and they're very much operational also. They do a lot of activities. Okay, suppose if the students they join at first year, so our senior students who are already members in these societies, they rush towards those juniors and they will educate. What are the advantages they get by joining in these societies? Okay, so as a part of these societal activities, so they conduct technical symposiums and quizzes and group discussions, and also they do some outreach programs like blood donation, plantation. They have participated recently at the Haram. So these are the activities they generally involve as a part of professional society bodies.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you for giving us an insight into about this particular aspect. Now I'd like to come back to Nagajyoti ma'am, our placement coordinator. Since many parents do have interest in placements, which they feel that it's one of the outcomes which they look into when they join their VAR. Nagajyoti ma'am, I would like to know what is the trend of core job placements, especially in the domain of EEE related to this particular branch. I would also like to know what are the significant placement records from your department, and please tell us the highest pay package also.
Yes, madam. There are very huge opportunities for EEE students. They can get into ABB, Siemens, ZF, MRF types, Meda Servo Drives, Schindler Electric, Transcon, REM Technologies, Amaraja Group, Blaze Automation, Tata Elxsi, Hyundai Motors India Engineers, Lokesh Machines, Oblum Industries, Blue Star, KNR Engineers India Limited, Mitsubishi, and Obulam Industries, HBL Power Systems Limited. These are all core companies where a triple E student can work. And along with this, they can get into the government organizations also, like they can work in ISRO, SAIL, NASA, and Airport Authority of India, BHEL, Central Power Research Institute. These are all the core opportunities for the triple E students. And coming to the placement records, good placement record for our branches, our students, we are very proud. We can say that very proudly we can say that our students are working in ABB, and they're also working in reputed organizations like NASA, and some of the students are working in Siemens, ZF, where they are working on electric hybrid vehicle design, and they're also working in MRF types. In MRF types, our students are working on PLCs, program logic controllers. So that PLC training already we have given with the help of the Siemens industry expert. So like that we are planning our training programs to make the student to be ready for the industry requirement. So that is the placement record. And coming to the average pay package of our branch, it is 5.2 lakh, and maximum like highest pay package is 8 lakhs. It is offered by Beautiful Core.
Okay,
And
ma'am.
many of our students are offered internship also, like they are offered internship in Blaze Automation and Amaraja Batteries, GGK Technologies. So like that they are offered for internships also.
Right, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you for letting us know about the various kind of opportunities that you provide for your students through these companies, whatever you have listed out, which I think most of them belong to the core domain of Triple E. Thank you, ma'am. I would just like to put forth a last question to our industry expert, Mr. Naresh sir. Naresh sir,
అంత ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఇచ్చినప్పుడు మనం కూడా కొద్దిగా తెలియదు కదా సార్.
is he there?
నేను ఏంటంటే కాలేజీలో ఫ్యాకల్టీ మేడం.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yes, sir.
Some problem with connectivity.
Yes, sir.
Tell me.
Okay, sir. Sir, from the perspective of a triple E student, what do you think is the industry expecting? I mean, what kind of skill set is it expecting from students who will pass out from a branch like triple E?
చేశారు కానీ
Fundamental knowledge of electrical systems, motors, some logical thinking, and little bit of problem solving capabilities, independent thinking.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you for letting us know about that. As you told, foundations, I mean, the basics are very important, especially related to these core branches like Triple E. Thank you, sir, for pointing that out. Next, I'd like to get back to our alumnus, Mr. Teja. Teja,
Yes, ma'am.
since we have discussed about your life in Vienna and the values that you have learned, I would also like to question you one thing. How was the campus life?
Definitely one of the best campus, I say. The way it has given us, towards the successful life. I can put one example also here. I was into this dramatics club, where we have participated ourselves in IIT Madras. Already, Ramesh sir told that this was Sarang Fest, and we stood in the fourth position, including many of the teams there. That was the initial first rank we got in the IIT Madras thing. And the campus provides us full balance towards this entertainment things also as well as the technical stuff. We were in this Convergence. I got a chance to work in Convergence. I was in Scintillations, part of a dramatics club, and I was a part of the IEEE papers too. So definitely you have very good work balance happening towards the education system itself in Vienna, and we will have a very good growth. It makes you as a perfect an associate to get into a company where you can have a very good communication, being into these groups, whatever our expert network has mentioned now, and also it also helps you to come out as a self-driven guy. It is not just someone importing many things into you. You should start something from your side always. Then only expect something from the management or something. So every student, I think, in Vienna will definitely be self-driven or motivation from himself own. So that has given me also up to this level for sure. And this is how I can put my experience in this 4 years of Vienna region.
Yeah, thank you, Teja. Very well said, as you have told about your experience in the college. Now, one more question to you, since you are our alumnus. What should the students be expecting, or how should they explore the opportunities that are provided in VNR? I mean, all those students who are aspiring to join our college, especially in the branch of EEE, what should they look forward to, or how should they make ample use of the opportunities that your department is providing so that they can excel in their career?
Okay. First of all, they should not be scared of this EEE itself. I say the expert management, Anuradha ma'am, or whoever is there, make the path very easy actually. Definitely, for example, I'm into this control systems now where people are scared of it, but the way our lecturers have told that it's a very smooth and easy way to understand with a very live examples, also the virtual examples also they've given. They used to take us to the lab and show us on directly situations. And for the students who take it in a, or understanding it in a very difficult way, they always used to show us physically also to take into the different industrial levels too. So I say them, you will have fun, you will have education, you will have motivation, and you also get a self-driven key factor, I say, where if you see most of our students now, especially who has come out of this EEE, are leading many teams. That shows the leadership qualities what a EEE or the EEE management is building in each and every associate. They just concentrate on each and every associate, I can say, or the student itself, to come out of with a very colorful manner or with an excellent career growth. So I say to every student that get ready to enhance yourself into VNR VJT, especially in the EEE, where I was zero basically when I started, but my college made me as a hero for sure by getting into many of the things. Yeah, that I can proudly say.
Yeah. So I think EEE people are really very good at giving the captions because I have seen their poster caption, which left me thinking that really how intriguing it is to see their poster caption. I really liked it so much. So similarly, you have said one caption in this panel discussion, zero to hero. So your college department has made you from zero to hero. So I EEE are really I would say they're really well deserving, and they have a huge expertise as far as I can understand. And even in the college also, I do keep thinking, because recently in the lockdown situation, where there was a discussion in our faculty group where we were discussing about the power issue related to the power thing. So they all really had put in their inputs saying that why this is happening, or they really had a technical explanation very logically given, which kept me wondering that really it's very good to see that they have a very kind of practical aspect into everything, and we all should learn from them a lot. And it's really good to see that a EEE department in VNR is a very strong department, ably guided by their Poonam ma'am or Anuradha ma'am, or senior faculty people like Ramesh Babu sir, who have been in the department since very long, and to all the youngsters who have joined amalgamation of both seniors as well as juniors, and with a lot of expertise both at the industry and academia also. Thank you to all the panel members, those who have been part of this panel discussion. You clearly have given a lot of insight into the department strengths, and especially for the parents or the students who are looking into joining this institute, or especially this particular department of EEE, and a lot of notions which you have. I think you have clearly cleared the doubts, I suppose. So any parent or student who have logged in online or who want to interact with the panel, they can unmute themselves and please ask the panel members, or you can type in the chat box also so that we can answer your questions. So one question, I think, one question which I can see is, students are feeling that EEE is tough compared to the other branches. I think already that has been answered by Anuradha ma'am, and authenticated by even our industry expert Naresh sir. So it's well deserving to take that hard work, because you are going to reap the benefits in near future. So anything else apart from that, please, the parents can feel free to interact with the panel members, or otherwise we'll close this particular session. Thanks to all the panel members. Thanks to Naresh sir, Teja, who have spared their time out to be part of this panel discussion. Thanks to Anuradha ma'am, who is quite busy in spite of her busy schedule. She has accepted to be part of this panel discussion. Thanks to Poonam ma'am and Ramesh Babu sir for giving your time for this particular panel discussion. And thanks Nagajyoti ma'am for giving your very good inputs about the placement aspect. Thank you to all the panel members and wish you all the very best.
Madam, before closing, we would like to have our EEE team and family of EEE department photo here before closing the panel discussion.
Yeah, definitely.